Whereas me being an ENTP, I can tend to, when I think, I'm thinking in straight, linear ideas as if I was speaking. So I'm just hearing myself talk, I'm hearing other people talk, I can remember a lot of what was said in movies, a lot of what people said. And so when I was asking him, what are you thinking? He's thinking about just about, like 600 different things. He's thinking about images, he's thinking about sounds and music, and not as much a verbal, linear, straight vocal thing. Like, I'm just hearing myself talk. He's not thinking that way. So we kind of had to just cut that language out because it just wasn't working for trying to communicate. I ask him what is he feeling. Sometimes he's able to answer that. But another part of this is it's kind of difficult too when I'm an extrovert, but I tend to do a lot of introverted things. It's harder for me just to want to go out and meet with everybody sometimes. So when he can come home at the end of the day, and I've done a ton of stuff, I've researched so much stuff, and he'll get home after a long day's work at like 8 sometimes or 9, and I'm just like, hey, did you see this TED Talks? Hey, did you hear about this? Oh my gosh, did you see this news article and this and this, and can you go over the budget with me? And I'll just throw like 4 or 5 things at him. And how do you process that?
Well, when I come in the door and she's immediately hitting me with information, especially after a long day of work, sometimes that can be very overwhelming. I actually found that I ended up having to do this almost like a policy type thing where if it's been a hard day at work, I just go, I need 10 minutes at least to just sort of recharge. And so I'll go and I'll take 10 minutes and just relax. And what that enables me to do then is it sort of enables me to free up my ability to take in the information that she's going to give me because I'm not overloaded. And what the cool thing about that is then I can process the information more and have a faster response, because if I'm already full of information and the things that have been going on in the day and haven't gotten a chance to categorize and label and put the things in the day in the proper places in my mind, then there's just that much more to wade through to be able to go into conversation with her in an effective way, especially if I'm going to respond to her in a timely manner. And that's huge because I don't want to leave her high and dry when it comes to the communication side of things and make her think that I'm not interested in what she's talking about. More than likely I'm very interested in what she's talking about, but I'm just drained.
Yeah. And I kind of, my personality, I tend to just really want an answer very quickly. I'm like, what did you think about that? And I also came from a family of my mom is an ENFP, and I guess I was one of the lucky ones. And my dad was an ESTP, and then I have a brother and sister that are an ISTP and an INFP. And there was just a lot of talk around my family. We communicate very fast, we talk very fast, and we process very fast. We're just constantly just one back and forth. And so I'm telling him my idea, and then I'm like, okay, what do you think? And he's just not responding, and that was a lot. It took a lot of just patience for me to be able to realize I'm going to get this deep, complex answer, and he's linking it with every single thing that he's ever experienced in his whole life, basically. Yeah. And that, it caused me to have a lot of patience, but it's also very deep, valuable communication. Yes. And it's so worth it to be able to get that response. But it does take a lot of patience. And, how do you, so it stretches you to communicate with me on a faster level, and I have to be able to be willing to communicate slower.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, unfortunately, if she's throwing a bunch of details out, like, let's say we're talking about bills or something that has a lot of numbers, a lot of
Hey,
different
here's all the
things to
username and
it.
passwords to all of our accounts, and
I'm
here's how
just
you
like,
do everything.
whoa, slow down. You just gave me a ton of information, and I need to deal with that information correctly, or it's not going to stick. It's just going to fly right off. Because for an INFJ, we keep a trash can close to our brain, and this trash can is labeled. And on this trash can, what it says is something sort of like this. It says, all of the information that is not necessarily needed right now, or that I think I know already, gets trashed. And it immediately goes into the trash can. It's amazing, because I'm like, yeah, I know that. Yep, I know that topic. Boom! Slam dunk, and it's gone.
And then I'm like pulling it out of the trash can going, I told you to remember this. And I'm like putting it back on him, and I'm like, why didn't you remember this? And he's just like, oh yeah, I threw that away.
And it wasn't intentional, I wasn't trying to be, harsh or anything, be like, oh, I don't need to know this. It was just that I wasn't seeing the full picture, because I
hadn't had
did
time to
not
process
place
it yet.
those details in a place that were important to me, or valued, or maybe even just set in the proper place in the box of, again, the jigsaw, because that's really important when it comes down to it. Because again, systems are huge for INFJs.
Yeah, and I had a really good thing that I was just thinking about like 2 seconds ago. I'm going to try to remember it. Okay. So with a lot of these things, at least you as an INFJ have all these expectations about what's going to happen, and you're always waiting for that finished end product. And he doesn't really enjoy the experience of like when a project's in the middle of it. Like even doing the backyard, it's like, wow, this section's really pretty. Look at how, what you've worked on. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I want to see it when I get to sit there with my coffee and sit on that back porch. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
And in communication, how that relates is I have to prepare him with what we're going to talk about sometimes. Not in just everyday communication, but he has to actually be mentally prepared for, talking about the budget, or talking about those like important topics like, hey, what do we do with retirement? I kind of need to prepare and almost schedule those times with you. Not that I need to schedule communication or just normal. We spend a lot of time together. We're very, very close. But that it's always good to kind of prepare, or kind of remind and kind of help you to. Well,
in regards to communication, I like to sort of look at it as when you're eating a certain kind of food. At least for me as an INFJ, if I am expecting a grape popsicle and I'm going to bite into that grape popsicle,
and it ends up being,
I bite into it and it is not a grape popsicle, I've been deceived because of the color and it tastes different, there's going to be an immediate shock factor for me, because again, I'm end picture, end result oriented. I know what that grape popsicle should taste like, and so I'm not satisfied because it's like, whoa, not a grape popsicle, not okay, and
it could be the most delicious popsicle. It could be like a purple strawberry popsicle.
Yeah, totally.
And it's absolutely delicious. And he's like, "What did you just put in my mouth? Oh my god! Oh my gosh!"
It's like, whoa, this is not grape. Okay,
And I'm like, it's strawberry. It tastes delicious. And then he goes, strawberry. Oh, that does taste delicious. Now that he's thinking strawberry.
Yeah.
But you just have to kind of be prepared there. Actually, we're almost out of time, but Do we want to do a third one? Anyway,
I don't know.
we will talk with you guys soon, and we hope you enjoyed our video.